The most common bet size in poker is usually the worst. So I'm banning myself from using it. Today, I can only bet 10% pot or less, or 2x pot or more. Crazy, right? I can already hear people saying,
Mark, you need middle sizes to be balanced.
Or,
you're gonna telegraph your hand.
Or,
you can't play poker with just 2 bet sizes.
Why am I doing this? Let me tell you about Alex, one of our early students stuck at 35 bucks an hour. He was playing pot limit hold'em without realizing it. Like most players, he was using middle sizes as a crutch on almost every turn in river. Half pot, 2/3 pot, 3/4 pot. So we banned him from using anything between 1/3 pot and full pot for a month. His win rate more than tripled. The middle sizes, they're lazy, they're sloppy, and they're costing you money. Now look, we don't make income claims or guarantees. In fact, if you think you're gonna triple your win rate like Alex just from watching this video, you might be delusional. What we can do is show you what happens when you can't default to the comfortable middle. If I'm wrong, I'm about to leave a lot of money on the table. But if I'm right, you'll see why your lazy half-pot bets are costing you money every single session. All right, let's jump into the hands. We're playing at Lucky Lady. It is Founders Day, so the place is apparently going to be packed. So at first we sit down in a 2-3-5 game. It's an $800 cap, but stay tuned because the games are gonna get wild. We're gonna play in a much bigger game later. Why do we say we? We're gonna play. Like, I've got all my friends from YouTube in my pocket. We're all gonna play the game together. We, all of us, all of the friends in the pocket, we opened at $20 with Ace Queen. Cut off, the first blind and the third blind are going to call. So we're gonna go multi-way to a flop, which comes Ace King 10, and when it checks over to us with one player in position and a couple players out of position, don't think this flop is likely to get stabbed with only one player in position to us. So with our options being 10% pot or less or overbet here, I'm not sure our particular hand wants to overbet on this board multi-way. We may just start value owning ourselves at a relatively high frequency, but I would like to bet. So I go $10 here, and I think this is the only blunder I made. I go 10 into 80, which is actually bigger than the 10% size. Was still getting used to this. Really, I think I'm only allowed to go $5 here, but I go 10. Okay, guys, I broke it. I ruined it on the first hand. I ruined it on the first hand. I go 10, but I think this is still in the spirit of the rules, right? Cutoff and the first blind are gonna fold, and only the third blind calls. We're gonna go to a turn, which is a 7 of spades, bringing in the front door flush. When the third blind checks it over, I elect here just to check this one back. Just going to bluff catch on the river here is the plan. But the river, the 8 of spades, bringing in a 4 flush. We don't have a spade in our hand. So when the third blind checks, I think we have a smidge of showdown value here. We just check it back. Third blind mucks, and we're going to take down the first pot of the day. All right, next hand here. Cutoff opens to 25, button calls, and we look down at a third blind here with pocket kigglies. Very nice squeeze spot here. Probably may get some non-believers in this this wide versus wide config when we go ahead and squeeze. We're gonna make it 125. Cutoff calls, button gets out of the way. Unfortunately, flop comes ace 10 5 with a couple of spades. Not really worried in a 2-3-5 game about range versus range or who this board is better for or whatever. Our hand wants to check here, so I am going to check. Turn is a 10 of hearts, pairing the board. Now there's a front door flush draw and a back door flush draw out there. I think our hand a little bit too thin to bet here. I think this player could have some top pair still when he checks back on the flop in a 3-bet pot. So I'm gonna check again on the turn. He goes 160. Don't love it, but there's a bunch of draws out there. I think he could be doing this with a heart draw, maybe just taking a stab at it here. So I'm gonna call and see what transpires. And we're gonna go to a river, which is the innocuous 6 of diamonds. We check, he quickly checks it back, and he shows pocket jacks, and we are going to take this one down. It's kind of a monkey stab on the turn, as they say. What is that, roasted quail?
Young quail.
Young quail? That's very fancy.
Veal quail.
Veal quail.
We don't hold back on Founders Day, or what is it today? Founders Day?
Yeah, Founders Day. That's not what they call it. It's called Quailtavius.
All right, next one, we open 9-7 offsuit on the button here to $20. The first blind and the third blind are gonna call. Flop comes king, king, jack, multi-way. I'm just going to be betting my good hands and good draws with 2 players in the pot. So I'm gonna check this one back. Turn is a jack, double pairing the board, and when both players check it over, again, my options are check, 10% or less, or 2x pot or more. So I decide to go with the old 10% here. I go $5, and I think at this point, if someone has a king, they would either come out and bet on the turn, or they're definitely going to check raise this. But both players are gonna call the $5. We're gonna go to a river, which is an offsuit deuce. When both players check it over, I think it's unlikely that either player has a king here. It's possible that someone could have a jack, but I think we're just gonna be able to get folds here quite a bit. So we're gonna go with the old 2x pot size, a little bit over 2x. We go 160, and both players are gonna fold. We get this one through. All right, moving along. Cutoff's gonna open to 25. Button in the second blind call. We've got ace queen in the third blind here. Gonna squeeze once again. This is the same guy we squeezed with Kigley's last time. And now he's actually going to 4-bet jam for 820. And I'm gonna think about this one a while. The reason why I'm thinking about this is because he quickly flatted with pocket jacks last time. So for value, this is really only going to be queens plus, maybe kings plus and ace king. And it maybe on the surface kind of seems like a spot where he could be getting sick of my shit. But then I remember, hey, last time I showed down a good hand. I had a better hand. I don't think he's really getting out of line here when he jams for his whole stack. And this is still just going to be under bluffed. So eventually going to find the fold, and he does not show, which is a good sign for us. Probably just ran into a very big hand here.
So who has been the best player so far in your observation, your analysis, in your short time at this table?
Larry.
Who's Larry?
I'm not going to tell you that because then it would give it away.
I know, they're all not named Larry, so one of them too. Are you Larry? Okay. What was your name, man?
He's trying to discover who Larry is. There's no Larry.
No.
All right, next one, $10 straddles on. So we're playing 2, 3, 5, 10. We open jack 6 of hearts on the button to 35. Only the second blind calls. Flop comes king, king 6. He checks it over. Heads up pot in position. Most boards just going to be range betting. This board, no exception. So I go $5, which seems a little bit ridiculous, but right, the rules are I got to go 10% or less or 2x pot or more. So $5 it is. He's going to put in the call. Turn is a jack. Now we have 3 pair here. We got kings and jacks with a 6 kicker. And when he checks it over, I think at this point, this would probably be a spot I would like to use a small size. I wouldn't go with the medium size here, but I definitely like to go bigger than 10% pot here. I think this is a spot where I'd like to be going maybe $30, $35, something like that. Put him in a spot where he may feel like he has to continue one more time with hands like 6x or hands like pocket 7s or pocket 8s. Choosing a small size on this turn is really, really nice. And also, if he does have trip kings, that gets slow played quite a bit on this kind of dry, a little bit more static flop. So I think that entices the trip kings to raise here as well. So this may be the first spot we run across. Hint, hint, spoiler alert. We're gonna run across quite a few where I'd like to choose something in between 10% and 2x. Why do I do this to myself? For you guys, for the entertainment. But I think generally here, I think 30, 35, something like that would be a nice size, but I don't have that option. So I am actually going to check it back. If I could have this one back, maybe we round up, we give me an exception. Maybe I just go $10 here. River is a 4, and now the second blind comes out and bets $5. At this point, this is never going to be a king, and my options when raising here are going to be to min click or to go very, very large. And I do think his line here is consistent, maybe with a hand like pocket 7s, pocket 9s, something like that. And I do think if he had that hand, he may get a little bit suspicious after we bet $5 on the flop and check back the turn. If we just raise this river big, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So I kind of like a big raise size here, just targeting those hands. This seems okay to me. We raised to 200, but unfortunately for us, he is going to fold.
You like soup?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm starting a soup restaurant.
Where?
Los Feliz.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When is it opening?
What? Yeah. We're opening next month.
What's it called?
Soup Baby?
Soup Baby?
No, Soup Baby.
Oh, Soup Baby.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where's that going to happen? That's all just kidding.
Next month.
Where?
Los Feliz.
Oh, yeah. I live in Echo Park.
No, this is the first one. So we have all different kinds of soup, but like but everything on the menu is based off it's all like pictures of babies, and you point to a baby and it's a type of soup.
I love that.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Soup Baby.
Soup Baby.
Commercial right now.
Your commercial? Do you like soups? Come to Soup Baby, and there's babies. You point to the baby, and you get the best soup in Los Angeles
And
at
where is
Soup
it?
Baby. It's in Los Feliz.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. What's it near?
What's it near?
Yeah.
In Los Feliz?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, I thought you would.
Yeah.
And are you excited about it?
I'm so excited.
You know, the restaurant business is the greatest business in the world. You're
Yeah.
going to do fantastic.
You think?
Everybody, go to Soup Baby.
Yeah, Soup Baby.
Scotty Wayne is the spokesperson.
For Soup Baby?
All right, next hand, $10 straddle is still on. Low jack opens to 30. I'm a big fan of 3-betting in general, getting the pot heads up, playing pots heads up in position at 3-bet pot, the most profitable place to be in. But this guy only starts the hand maybe 400 400, 500 effective, something like that. And he's opening from early position with the straddle on, so going to be a tighter range. Plus we're on the button. So I do like calling here as kind of a deviation. If he was deeper, I would just always 3-bet, but we're gonna call. That's gonna bring in the straddle as well. Flop comes king, jack, 4 with a couple of hearts. So we flop top pair. The straddle is going to check. I don't know, jack goes 55 for about a 60% pot size bet here into multiple people. I think obviously our hand is way too strong to fold, not nearly strong enough to raise. So by order of elimination, that is going to bring us in as a call here. The straddle gets out of the way. Now the turn is an offsuit 5, and the low jack is actually going to overbet here. And at this point, king high double Broadway board. He opened from early position. He's essentially committing himself here, putting in the majority of his stack here on this turn. This is just massively, massively under bluffed. When he chooses the size on the turn, he's essentially saying, hey, I'm scared of the draws. I have a good hand. I don't want you to get there. This is kind of a common thing you'll see more from rec players, playing more from a place of fear. Like, I don't want someone to suck out on me once again. I don't want to get sucked at the table. So actually, I'm just going to find a fold here. I think this is just going to be hands that beat us almost all of the time. And in the rare cases we're not beat, we're up against just big draws here. Maybe hands like ace queen of hearts or ace 10 of hearts or something like that. I just think we're beat here almost all the time though. So going to find the fold with top pair here on the turn. All right, next one, a big pot alert. This is this one's a doozy. Low jack opens to 20, cutoff and button call. We've got pocket 10s here in the third blind, so going to put in the squeezle. We make it 120. Both the low jack and cutoff are going to call. The button gets out of the way. Flop comes king 10 5 with a flush draw out there. And I think this one is close between betting and checking, but with 2 players in position, if we check here and a flush draw out there, a bunch of straight draws out there, I do think this is going to get stabbed at a high frequency, and we can probably just get in the money right here, right now. So I like to check, and look at that, just like that, the low jack is going to jam for 650, and now the cutoff is going to call, so could not be going better for us. We've just got about 135 more, so we're going to put in the money here. Cutoff calls, praying for no diamonds, please. Turn is a 7 of hearts. River is a 9 of spades, and we are going to show cutoff mucks. Low jack actually shows a 10 here, and we are going to scoop this one. So a nice little pot, as they say in Belarus. All right, next one here. Low jack goes 20, hijack in the first blind call. We've got ace jack of hearts here in the second blind, so seems like a pretty darn good squeeze spot if you ask me. We are going to make it 130, and now the third blind wakes up with a cold 4-bet, and he goes ahead and puts in all of his betting discs. Cold 4-bet, guys. This is a red flag, because in general, I'd say when the pool has a hand like ace king or pocket 10s or pocket jacks or ace queen suited or something like that, they just tend to do a lot of cold calling of 3-bets. They just tend to call the 130 here. So when they do put in the jam, this is just going to be very, very, very strong hands. Big fan of over folding to cold 4-bets. We're gonna get out of the way. Got our hand caught in the cookie jar a little bit here.
It's hard to hit a jackpot. How many have you hit?
We were talking about that. We haven't seen one either. I haven't seen one.
You haven't either?
What?
You've never hit a jackpot?
Who said that?
No, I thought you were saying.
Whoever told you that is lying.
Have you hit a jackpot?
I'm not. Listen, I don't really like to talk about it.
All right, next one, $10 straddles on. We open in the cutoff to 35 with 9-7 of clubs, and the first blind is going to call. Flop comes 10-9-7 with a couple of hearts, and when the first blind checks it over, normally would just be going small here, maybe 35, 40 bucks, something like that. Choosing a size to get them to raise the strong stuff, call with the weak stuff, maybe 30 because it straddles on. Maybe we want to go a little bit smaller. But my options here, right now, are to either go 10% pot or less or 2x pot. So I consider both. I think this one is close. However, I think on this particular board, there are a lot of hands that are going to be inelastic even to a big size that just aren't going to raise even if we go small. The flush draws, the straight draws, hands like pair plus straight draw, 8-9, pocket 8s, 7-8, 10-8, right? There's just going to be a ton of hands that are going to be completely inelastic here. So I actually decide to overbet. I go 160, but unfortunately for us, the villain is going to show us ace king and fold face up.
Wait. Thank you.
What'd you have?
I had the best hand in poker.
So this one folds all the way around to the second blind. There's 3 blinds, so we're gonna play, but he kind of seemed a little bit reluctant, almost like he was gonna ask me to chop until I tell him, you know, let's play. There's 3 blinds. So he kind of almost reluctantly opens to 20. I think I maybe picked something up here that he doesn't have a super strong hand, so I'm just gonna 3-bet. I feel like I'm 3-betting just like any 2 here. I make it 70. He puts in the call. Flop comes queen, jack 4 with a couple of diamonds. At this point, just going to c-bet my entire range small. I go $10. He's gonna put in the call. Turn is a 4 of hearts when the villain checks it over here on the turn. You know, I wanted to size down here again, give him a chance to raise if he did have a hand like 4x, but right, we're in a 3-bet pot. He opened and called a 3-bet. If he's got a 4, you know what, good for him. He gets my money, and he just called on a wet dynamic flop, so I think he's gonna have a lot of draws. I think he's just gonna float one time with a ton of hands. This is a spot to hammer the overbet, guys. So this is a blunder by me. I go 10% again. I think just going with the overbet here is nice. I go 15. He puts in the call. River is a 3, so we actually make a pair, and when he checks it over, because I went so small in the flop and turn, I actually think I have sufficient showdown value here. I think he can have quite a lot of ace high or busted draws here. So with bottom pair, I'm actually just going to elect to check this back, but he's going to show pocket 8s, and we are going to lose. All right, next hand, under the gun limps, cut off limps, and we're on the button with king 9 of hearts. I think this is close when an under the gun player limps. They're not planning on limp folding, so I usually like to be pretty tight in this scenario. Played with this guy for a bit and noticed he was opening his stronger hands, not the type to limp raise. So I'm just going to ISO here, make it $50. Both players are gonna call. Flop comes jack 8 deuce. Close, but no cigar. And when it checks over to us, normally with not much going on, 3 ways here, just going to check it back. But we've got all the back doors here. We got the backdoor hearts. We got the backdoor straight draw. So I'm actually going to start betting here, and I think I may be able to get some credit. I go 15, 10% pot. Both players are going to call, so there goes that. Turn is a jack of spades. And when both players check it over again, I decide to double barrel here. I'm going to choose a small size here. I think trips are pretty much going to be forced to raise here to 10% pot. So I go 20. Both players are going to put in the call. We go to a river, which is an offsuit queen. And when both players check it over here, here's the first spot on the day, guys. Here's the first spot on the day where I feel really handicapped with these sizing options. And the reason why I feel handicapped is because there's gonna be quite a lot of hands like 8x or pocket 9s or deuce X getting to the river, right? They're just gonna have a lot of showdown value hands. They're not going to have a lot of trips, if any trips at all, but the queen does bring in the obvious draw, which is 9-10, so that gets her on the river. So I think a really nice bluff size, if I had my full toolkit here, I'm just trying to fold hands like ace 8, deuce X, or pocket 9s or something like that. And I think to do that, a nice middling size here, maybe a size like 160, 175, something like that. Again, I think the middle size is usually a crutch, but in this particular scenario, I think the middle size as a bluff is actually very good. And if I do have value on this river, say I have a hand like pocket 8s or pocket queens or something like that, I think going very small is viable if you think your opponents are going to call with 8x and raise 10-9. Like maybe you can go 80 or something like that on this river. I also think the very big size, just going 2x or 3x pot on this river, also very viable when we have a strong hand here. So generally on the river, when it's a good spot to go either tiny or massive with our value, the bluffs like to choose that middle size, just that nice sweet spot. So this is the first spot where I feel really handicapped, and I decide the best option on this river because blockers. I do have a 9 in my hand, makes it, I guess, a little bit less likely that someone has 10-9 suited here. I elect to go with the overbet size. Again, would not be doing this if I had all of the tools in my toolkit, but I wanted to make a video about how the middle size was a crutch. In this hand, I think the middle size is actually pretty good. So I overbet. I go 2x pot. I go 515 here, and the under the gun player is going to fold, and the cutoff quickly puts in a call with 10-9 of diamonds, and we're going to lose a pretty juicy one. So why am I doing this? Why am I limiting my options? Why am I trying to make this point? Well, back when we started as a stable, we noticed that a big blunder that a lot of our players were making was they would just always default to this 2/3 pot size or this 3/4 pot size on every turn in river. And they would do this because it's the safe play. It's standard. It's what everybody does. And, you know, I talked about Alex a little bit at the start of this video, and Alex was kind of stuck at 2-5, making 30 35 bucks an hour. And every time he had value on the turn or river, he would go with his 2/3 pot size. And every time he had a bluff, he would go with the 2/3 pot size or the 3/4 pot size, because that's the standard size. And he would choose the same size with his value and his bluffs. And man, Alex will tell you to this day, I had to just yell at him and beat it into him. Hey man, just stop using these middling sizes, because generally we found a majority of the time, both our bluffs and value wanted to do the same thing on turns quite a bit, not for balance, but they generally had the same goal. Bluffs and value either wanted to go very small on turns when our opponents were uncapped to get them to raise the strong stuff, call it the weak stuff, or when our opponents were uncapped, but they were going to be inelastic, the bluffs and value wanted to go very, very big on the turn to build that big boy pot. And then on rivers, they would tend to diverge. Where our opponents had a super strong range on rivers, the value would want to go absolutely massive and the bluffs would want to go small. And when our opponents got to the river with a weak capped range, it would be the opposite, right? The bluffs would want to go very big, the value would want to go small. And generally, choosing the middling size was just going to be this inefficient option. So it took many, many sessions. And like I talked about in the intro, we banned Alex from using any size between 33% pot up to 100% pot on any turn or river for a month. It was a little bit extreme, but it forced him to kind of think outside this box and start using more unconventional sizes and put a lot more intentionality. Is that a word? Intentionality. It feels very corporate, like synergy, intentionality. To put a lot more intentionality, to put a lot more thought behind his bet sizing. And what do you know, within just a few short months, his game kind of took off, tripled his win rate, started playing much, much bigger, 5-10, then 5-10-20, then even bigger than that. And so bet sizing is really, really tricky. And this video is an extreme example. I know it's out there, but if you guys are struggling with bet sizing, that's what we really drill home in Basecamp. And Basecamp is our 5-day program that's built off of all of the data we assembled to build 25 plus winning full-time pros in the stable. It's the same type of instruction we gave them, because we learned the hard way that giving people a bunch of videos, giving them a bunch of charts, giving them a bunch of guides, it didn't work. We just got a bunch of blank faces staring back at us on Zoom and people who never use the stuff. So Basecamp is 5 days of interactive training. We keep the groups small. We're gonna hold your feet up to the fire and test your thought process in hands in real time with the pressure on. And we found that this active learning style, this is what actually gets results for our students. And after that, it is a little bit overwhelming. It's a lot of information for 5 days. We're gonna give you 2 months of continued support. And during that support, we're still gonna do twice weekly interactive group coaching calls. We're gonna put you in study groups and curate them for players who are around your level, who can meet up at the same time. And on top of that, you got a hand, you post a hand, you get feedback from myself, Gethen, our team of coaches who have collectively earned millions and millions and millions of dollars playing poker. You're gonna get feedback within 48 hours. If that at all sounds interesting to you, Basecamp might just be for you. Hopefully, I will see you there soon.
Congratulations, by the way.
What?
I heard about the circumcision.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
It was fine.
It went good?
I kind of regret it, because I heard when you get circumcised, you lose 10 to 15% of your true sensation.
Is that true?
I don't know. I'll never know, because I'm circumcised.
No, but you weren't until...
I was.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, the other rumor was false. I already was.
Since when?
I was born.
What? Really?
Yeah, I'm Jewish. All right, who's cut?
Yes.
We got some anteaters amongst us.
Wait, how many anteaters?
We have some UCI anteaters among us.
All right, next hand here. A recreational player is going to open a 40 from early position. No straddles on. He's just opening really, really big. And I think when rec players use this size, I think this is just going to be a lot of hands like pocket 10s, pocket jacks, ace, king, stuff like that. Hands that they don't want a lot of callers, so they raise big. Again, kind of letting fear guide that decision. So we start off relatively deep with this player. So we're going to call in the big blind with king 9 of clubs. Go to flop, which comes jack, deuce, deuce, couple diamonds. We check it over, he checks it back. Turn is a 6. At this point, the plan here on the turn is actually to go for a check raise. However, I do not like this plan now in retrospect. The reason why I don't love this plan is because I think this player has a lot of hands, just ace, king, ace, queen suited, that type of stuff. They're just probably not going to stab trying to get to showdown a lot. On top of that, I think he may have the occasional trap with pocket jacks here. So going for the check raise, we may just run into it. What do I do if I had all the tools in my toolkit here? I'd probably just come out and bet small here. Wouldn't choose a 2/3 pot, 3/4 pot size. No, I don't think that really accomplishes anything. But I think a size here that would encourage like ace, king, ace, queen to float one time would be pretty good. Maybe 30 bucks here, something like that. But in game, I decided to check. I don't love it. He checked it back. River's a queen. And I think in this spot, if I had all the tools in my toolkit, I think a small bet here works really nice as a bluff. However, I am quite limited here. I think an overbet not going to be the most efficient here because we're just gonna run into ace queen or something like that sometimes on this river. So I was planning to 2x pot the river, but I kind of chicken out. I go small here and we're gonna call by ace king high. So played it, I think, in the worst possible way. Don't really love how I played this one. Wish I could have it back.
Hey, a win's a win. If you could beat the LA rig, you're a good player.
If you could see my grandmother naked, you're a good player. Do you want to see her naked?
No.
Okay. Welcome back.
Yeah, pretty
You
cool.
know what they say?
What's that?
They say
Let's go, Steven.
2 belly buttons are better than
Just like old times.
2 are better than 1. You have 2?
I have 2. I'm
Can you show the camera your belly button? Just one time.
pretty belly button.
No, just one time, please. Just show, your face won't even be on there. Just a belly button. Just a belly button. Look at the belly button. Belly button time. Say belly button time.
Belly button.
Are you in
Thank
or
you.
out here?
All right. Oh yeah. Yeah, I would like cake. I'll have this one. This one looks better.
All right, let's do a real-time cake review here.
Okay. I'll review it.
Yeah. Some ASMR right here.
Hold on. I need one more bite. 5.
Out of?
7.
Wait, why 7 stars?
That's like the
5
standard.
out of 7?
Yeah.
It's either out of 5 stars or 10 stars. 7
7.
stars? I don't know.
Yeah.
5 out of 7.
5 out of 7.
Is it a vanilla cake with frosting then?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, next one. Straddle is on. We open in the low jack 35 with king 10 offsuit. Cutoff and button call. Flop comes king 10-3 with a flush draw. So a couple players in position. The board is certainly wet. I'd say it's dynamic. Maybe not completely dynamic because it is king high, but I think it's relatively likely to get stabbed with 2 players in position. So I'm going to check here, going for the check raise, but unfortunately for us, it checks through. Turn now is a 3, pairing the bottom card. The plan was just to come out and bet large on most cards. I think the problem is if we go 2x pot, we're just gonna get value owned here quite a bit. Not sure a hand like 10x is calling 2x pot. I don't like the 2/3 or 3/4 size here, the conventional middling size. I think it's garbage here. But if I had all the tools in the toolkit, I'd probably bet maybe something like pot, maybe 110, 120 here on this turn, just targeting 10x. I think that's where I would go. I like to check here. Not really sure why. I just felt like I didn't have a great option. The cutoff goes $20, so very, very small. I'm gonna check raise to the big boy size. I don't think this is ever a 3. I think we could look full of shit here after we check twice. So I'm gonna go with the big boy size, just praying he gets sticky with some type of hand like 10x or something like that, but he is going to fold. All right, here we go, guys. I'm doing it for you. A seat has opened up in the 10, 20, 40 game, and we've got a spot. So we're gonna take this gambit over to a much larger game. Let's see how it goes. All right, very first hand, we just sit down and look down at 7-6 of spades here, and going to open.
I don't know. I'm sorry?
I think 80.
Oh, it's 40. I didn't know it was 40. Sorry. Yeah, make it 80.
I misclick here because we got the $10 chips. I'm trying to get everything organized, get the camera set up. So I actually just min click. I accidentally raised to 80 here. The button and the third blind are going to call. Flop comes ace, queen, jack. Not really anything going on here. 3 ways, just not going to be betting if I don't have a good hand or a good draw. So we check, it checks through. Turn is a queen, and when it checks over to us, just going to go with the min bet here. That's going to count. That's going to have to count as the 10% pot, guys. I go with the smallest size I actually can. I go $40, and now the third blind is going to call. I think at this point, if the third blind did have trip queens here, when I choose this very baby size on the turn after the flop checks through, I think he's just going to check raise the queen X or just come out and bet the queen X himself. Now the river is a 10, and when the third blind checks, I actually think this is a pretty good spot to empty the clip. Even if he does have a king here, right? If he called with a gutter and drilled it on the river, I think it's gonna look pretty credible that we could have some boats here when we check on a dry, very static flop. Now the board pairs on the turn, a 10 comes in the river. Like, what are our bluffs here? There are no backdoor draws that come in on the turn. It would make sense for us occasionally to trap on this particular flop, especially with the player in position. And I think to an aware player, we're in a 20-40 game, players are going to be more aware. I think it's going to be a spot where we can get some folds if they do have a hand like King X here. I don't think we're going to run into a full house all that often, if at all. So I'm just going to empty the clip here. I think if I did have a hand like Queen 10 here, probably go 600, 700, maybe 2x pot, trying to get a crying call from a straight here. So because I'd only go maybe 2x pot max, if I had a boat here, I think that opens up lots of possibilities. So I'm going to go really, really large. I go go 900 here, and Villain's gonna think about it for a while, but eventually going to find the fold, and we are going to get the first one through. All right, guys, next hand we open 6-5 of clubs in the hijack to 120, playing 10, 20, 40. Third blind, what looks like a reg is going to call. Flop comes 10, 4, 3 with a couple of clubs. So we flop a combo draw here when he checks it over. Going to choose the min size here, $40, the very, very small size. He's gonna put in the call. Turn now is an 8 of hearts, and when he checks it over, actually in a little bit of a pickle here because he only started about 2,000 effective. So he's only playing about 50 big blinds, and at 50 big blinds, definitely not the spot I am trying to get somebody to fold a decent hand, even like top pair or maybe even second pair on this particular board. So I think if we're deeper on this turn, I do like the 2x pot and then the huge bet on the river. If we can follow up with another 2x pot if we're deep enough. But at this stack depth, I think if we're gonna go big on the turn, we're gonna have to give up or go very small on the river quite a bit. I do elect to overbet on the turn, which I think is okay at the stack depth, but just gonna have to have a plan for the river. And going to the river, which is an offsuit king, when he checks it over, really, really handcuffed here. The size I would like to go here as a bluff is small, right, guys? Like, I'm not gonna choose a middling size. I'm not gonna go half pot or whatever. He's got something a little over 1,000 behind. So I think a really nice play here. Obviously, I don't think 10x is ever folding 50 big blinds deep to start the hand. So I think a really nice play on this river, maybe going something like 1/3 pot here, maybe 500, 600, something like that. Just trying to fold the ace high, queen high, jack high flush draws in the third blind. I think that would be a really, really nice size. I don't have that option. So this is going to be maybe the second spot so far today where I am pretty handcuffed. So I'm actually just going to put in the money. I don't love it, but I'm trying to follow the rules. If I put in the max amount of money or if I put in the minimum amount of money, to me that counts as following the rules. We're gonna go with the big size here. The big size is all in. That's as big as I'm allowed to go. So we're gonna go all in. He actually doesn't tank that long, and he puts in the call with ace 4. So he just has, what is that, third, fourth pair here he calls. And this is the problem with trying to bluff people when they are 50 big blinds deep to start the hand and all the draws brick. The takeaway from this hand is don't try to get people to fold. Definitely not top pair, and maybe even not second or third pair when they start 50 big blinds deep and all the draws brick. Going big on the turn is okay as long as we just slow down and modulate on this river. So really didn't love it in game, but felt like I didn't have a good option at the time. I think if we had all the bet sizes in the bet belt, we may just choose a $500 bet on this river. And maybe the spirit of this, maybe we just went a little bit too extreme with the 10% or 2x pot, maybe communicating the same idea. Maybe what we did for Alex, right? Maybe just eliminating everything between 33% to pot gets the job done a little bit clearer, and maybe it loses me a little bit less money. So maybe we should have gone with that. But hey, wanted to be entertaining. So here we go. Next one here, open pocket twos to 120. Small blind is going to 3-bet to 500. We're in position, we're relatively deep. So we are going to call. Flop comes jack 6-6. When a small blind checks here, I actually kind of like going small for value and protection and just kind of checking back the turn and trying to get to showdown. I think that line works nicely because players don't check raise thinly enough for value here, and they tend to not protect their checking range quite enough, even at 20-40 in a 3-bet pot. So I just had to go very small. I go 10% pot. I go 100, and now he check raises to 700. And now I'm kind of in this zone of like, is he check raising me because I went 10% pot here? There's a diamond draw out there. We've got the deuce of diamonds. Think he could just be getting out of line here. So I'm going to see what he does on the turn. I'm going to put in the call. Turns a queen of diamonds, bringing in the flush, and now he goes small. He goes 800. This to me just running out of bluffs here. If he did have a draw, he got there at this point. If he did have a 6, this size makes sense as well. Pretty good size here with a flush, just trying to get me to continue with a jack or a hand like pocket nines with a 9 of diamonds, something like that. Really like this size from him. And I do think if he was just check raising willy-nilly here on the flop, would probably shut it down at this point. So we are going to fold. We're actually playing the bounty game. I don't know if it's the bounty game. I don't know what the game is called, but if you win 3 pots in a row, everybody at the table has to pay you $100. If you win 2 in a row, or if you win 3 in a row, you have to show. So he actually shows 7-6 of hearts here. So he did have a real hand, and he flopped flop trips. Next one, low jack opens to 150. This player to me seemed like a recreational who was probably on the tighter side. He used a big open size from early position. So when the cutoff calls, and I look down at pocket 8s in the small blind, normally a spot where I'm going to be squeezing a lot, but something in my spidey sense is just tingling, telling me the low jack is probably stronger than he should be in this spot. So I'm actually just going to call. Now, of course, I get punished. The second blind is going to squeeze to 800, and the low jack and cutoff are going to fold. So I was wrong about that, but we're really deep here. I think we're about 13, 14K effective with the second blind. So I'm going to put in the double call here, and we're going to go to a flop 10, 9, 8. So we flop bottom set. This is a spot, I think, again, if I had all the tools in the toolkit, it doesn't really break the spirit of the video because I wouldn't choose a medium size here, but I think I'd just come out and donk here. I'd come out and lead on this board. And the reason why I would come out and lead on this board, I think this particular player is aware, has some clue what's going on. So I think he's going to check back at a very high frequency, even if he has a hand like aces or kings on this particular board. After I have double called pre-flop, this board just looks like it smashes me. But the best way to minimize fold equity, guys, is just go bet, bet, bet. I think just coming out and donking here is actually pretty good to get 3 streets, hopefully on a clean run out from a hand like aces, kings, queens, something like that. I think I may just go 1/3 pot, 30% pot, try to string along a hand like ace king or ace queen with a club in there. If we get a clean turn card, just go big on the turn, kind of put him in a predicament with pocket aces or pocket kings where he may feel like he has to call down, but don't really have the option because I made it extreme. I'm a dummy, so I actually check here. Would really like to find a donk. I thought about it in game, but just didn't have the option. Didn't feel 10% donk would be good. I even think a 10% donk here is better than checking in retrospect. So I check, he checks back. Turn is in 8. We got quads now at this point. And like I talked about, I'm going to carry that consistent thread from the flop. I do think he's got aces almost pure here. Probably has kings and queens a lot of the time when he checks back on this board. So even if I wasn't limited here, I really like at this stack depth, just coming out and 2x potting the turn. Just going really big because I think aces, kings, they're never folding to 1 bet on this particular board, especially when the board pairs, especially from me, right? So I go with the big boy size here. Unfortunately, he's going to quickly fold, and he told me he had ace queen, so we get a little bit unlucky here. All right, next one, gonna throw in a double board bomb pot just for fun. No rules in this one. We're not gonna abide by the rules in double board bomb pot. It doesn't count. It's not hold'em. We're gonna play double board. So we got Jack 6, 6, 4 with a couple spades, couple of clubs. We're double suited. Top board comes King 10, 5. Bottom board comes Queen Jack 4. So we flop bottom 2, and not really much else going on. This one is going to check through. Turn is a Queen of Spades up top, giving us a flush draw now, but only a jack high flush draw. But on the second board, we get a 4. So we've got a boat on the bottom board. EP comes out and bets 500, gonna fold all the way around to us. Considering raising here because we could have some type of free roll going on if he doesn't really have much going on the board where we have the boat, because we do have a flush draw up top. But just think it's very likely he is playing the top board. So actually, in retrospect, kind of like raising here and just piling in a ton of money with maybe a free roll. But I'm just gonna call river a queen of diamonds up top and the innocuous deuce of spades down below. Now he's gonna check, and at this point, think he's definitely playing the top board. I don't think he has a full house on the top board when he checks on this river all that often, because a straight came in on the turn. So if he had some type of set or 2 pair up there, he wouldn't just be potting. And on the bottom board, it makes sense. If he had a strong hand, he would just keep betting. So I think he's playing the top board. I think he's probably got a straight quite a lot on the top board. So I'm just gonna come out and pot here, trying to drive some fold equity, do a little bit of table talk.
Can I be honest with you? I have this one. I have that board.
So you get board to have.
I don't have the other board. What do you have?
Essentially,
Oh, you beat 2 pair, right? You don't know. I leave the table, you're gonna tell me. Please.
No refund.
We got us. Why you didn't bet?
What?
Why you didn't bet on the turn?
On the turn, you bet. Can I be honest? I'd like a medium hand on the turn on both boards.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, you shouldn't. You should definitely not believe me. I would not believe me either.
Top board.
What's the top board?
Oh, my top.
Oh, your top.
That one.
Oh.
I'll call you for a chop. Hopefully you don't have the other one.
Unfortunately for us, he's going to begrudgingly put in the pained call, and we're going to chop it up. He's got ace, jack, 8-5, so he does have the straight on the top board. He really didn't like calling. I think it was close to folding, but we are going to chop it up. All right, one more side game. We're playing Cucaracha. They call it Cucaracha. I told them they should call it Ratatouille. Ratatouille would be a much better name for it. Much better name, Ratatouille, than Cucaracha. All right, so the way this works is we had just played the stand-up game, and every time someone loses the stand-up game, they have to pay $800, and that $800 just goes into the middle of the pot, and then we do a bomb pot. But the way this works, why it's called Cucaracha, is you either call the $800 or you fold, and then there's no more betting after the flop. So that's how this is going to work. There's no more betting after the flop. You either call 800 or you fold. So flop comes 8-3 deuce, and we've got queen 10 5-4, so we are open-ended. EP puts in the 800. We're going to call, and the cutoff is going to call, so we're three ways. Turn is an ace of hearts, giving us the nuts. River, a queen of hearts, but fortunately for us, no one has hearts, and we are going to chop it up with the EP player who also has 4-5.
What do you think of this?
What do you mean?
What do you think of it?
Something like a scam or something?
No.
No, I don't want to look at it.
But what do you? What do you think of it?
I think it's great. I think I want one.
Okay. You want two? Yeah. Okay. Look at that.
Give this guy an extra one.
That's it.
All right, I'm gonna have more. They have to go right into my mouth because I don't want to touch them. So. Haha. Pretty good. Would you ever come to my restaurant?
Italian or anything?
Italian?
What's your restaurant?
You just assumed it was Italian?
Yeah, I thought it was Italian.
Why?
Look Italian.
I look Italian?
Yeah.
What about me looks Italian?
Man bun.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, remember him.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You ever been to Italy?
No. I know a friend from Italy. It's like,
You got a friend from Italy?
I don't know his real name. We just play poker like once.
So he's not really your friend, huh?
Yeah. It's like
You don't have any Italian friends?
yeah, like Italian friend. Like
Yeah.
friend, I don't have it.
Yeah. Well, will you come to my restaurant? It's in Los Feliz.
What's your restaurant's name?
Little Baby Soup.
Little Baby Soup.
Yeah.
No way.
It's a ghost kitchen. You have to order on like Uber Eats or Postmates or whatever.
Okay.
You know? You ever had gelato? That's like a cold soup.
Yeah. You're not trolling me, right?
No.
Okay.
All right, next hand here, just a little context. The cutoff, who is on our direct left, has 2 of the bounty buttons. So if he wins one more hand in a row, everybody at the table has to pay him $100. So EP open limps, and we are going to over limp here with King 10 of spades, just expecting the cutoff to almost always raise here when he's got 2 bounty buttons. And of course he does. He raises to 300, rest of the table folds. We're gonna call heads up to a flop. Queen 7-5 with 1 spade. So we got some backdoors here. We check, he goes 300. I think a case could be made for raising right here, but my plan is to float, maybe thinking we've got the best hand here. And then if we do pick something up, maybe we can get a little bit squirrely on the turn. Turn is a 4. We check, and now he overbets. He goes 1.5K. This is an aware player. This is a smart guy. And when he overbets here on this turn, he knows he's gonna get called very, very light here when he's got 2 bounty buttons. So I think this is gonna be massively under bluffed. Now, even though I think he's got a strong hand here a lot of the time, I think he could be going thinner for a bigger size than usual. And again, I'm thinking about this because, you know, I don't really have much going on here, but if I think he's going thinly for value, I think this player is quite capable of folding relatively strong hands. If he's got a queen here, if he's got some type of overpair like kings or aces, I think we may be able to get a decent fold here, especially because we start 13, 14K effective with this player. So I actually, if I could have this one back, I would like a small check raise. Of course, we're not allowed to do that. We're really only allowed to min click or go all in here with our limited options. But if I had all the tools in the toolkit here, I like a small raise on this turn to try to get him to call with a queen and then jam the river. Man, this looks so strong. And I just think he's probably going more thinly for a bigger size than usual just because he's got the 2 bounty buttons, right? There's levels. And level 1 is he knows that he's going to look full of shit. So I think he's more likely than not to have value here. But I also think he's more likely to choose larger sizes with thin value, knowing he's going to get called lighter, which means because he's got more thin value than he normally would for this size, I think a check raise actually prints here. I think we could just get a lot of folds. So I think if I have the option, I just go for a small check raise on the turn and then a jam on the river.
You know Schweckles?
Nah.
Really? You play poker a lot, don't you?
Yeah, I play poker.
Like a decent amount, like a good amount?
Yeah, good amount, yeah.
Like how many hours, like a month? Like
3 days a week.
3 days a week?
Every day around 7 hours. So
Yeah, about 20 hours a week?
20 hours per day.
Like 85 hours a month, right?
Yeah.
You play here mostly?
Yeah, here.
And you don't know Schwackles?
Is that a person or like?
Yeah,
No,
poker player.
I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe I see picture I know, but like
Yeah.
I just
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, next hand here, Button the Reg, who snapped us off with ace 4 a little bit earlier. He opens to 160. The middle blind, the guy in the 20 to our direct right, is going to call. And look at this, we got ace king of spades, just rubbing our hands together. What a spot, what a spot, what a spot. Especially with the image we have cultivated with this guy who called us down with 4th pair earlier. So we're gonna squeeze, gonna choose a larger size here because I think it's just gonna look like I'm full of shit, right? It looks like such a good squeeze spot. I go 900, and now the button is gonna think about it. He's gonna jam for about 68.50. So putting in all of the money here, and as soon as the second blind gets out of the way, we snap.
He loses to anything.
We snap this off. Flop comes 7-5-3. Turn is a jack. Please give us an ace. Please, dealer, please. River's an ace. We show, and unfortunately, we're gonna lose to ace 5 of diamonds. So he found the old 4-bet bluff jam. We snapped it off, and unfortunately just get a little bit unlucky on this run out. So at this point, we're filming with all this production value, and we actually run out of memory on our cards on the camera. We're gonna call it for the day. Seems like a good enough spot to me after getting punished quite sufficiently. All right, guys, my takeaways. I think I made it a little bit too extreme. I think this would work better, maybe even drive the point home harder. If we limited the bet size either 1/3 pot or less, or pot or greater, I think that maybe keeping the options open a little more, maybe make it a little bit more realistic. Give me a couple more tools in the tool belt, but you can't fault me for not trying. Went and played 10, 20, 40, only allowed to bet 10% pot or less or 2x pot or more. We tried. Guys, if you're trying to dial in your sizing, once again, you're sick of not really knowing what to do, you're defaulting to that middle size too much. That's what our 5-day base camp was built to fix. 5 days of interactive coaching in small groups, 2 months of support to make sure it sticks. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed me getting punished. Hope this turns you into the biggest boy possible. Thank you guys, and have a gentle day.